Ooh, we've already covered the One Angry Gamer drama on this. Huh. What do you say, guys? We watch this one? I say we watch this one. So, if you are allergic to brain damage, you should probably not watch this. It's very possible that you will sustain a brain injury just from watching this. No Bullshit is a white supremacist. Very possibly a Nazi. I've seen several points where he's kind of railed on Jews and spread the Jewish conspiracy theory. There's actually a clip. Of all people, it was actually internet comment etiquette that first kind of revealed he might be a Nazi, where he covers this video talking about like manspreading, and No Bullshit pauses it and says, "Huh, this movie producer is a Jew. Who would have thought?" No Bullshit's probably a Nazi. He's definitely a white supremacist, and he's extremely stupid. Like, he is really fucking dumb. I feel like you could probably like dissect his head and take his brain out, and it would look like an ant farm. You know, like ant farms, how they have all those little squiggles in them, like the tunnels when they're up against the glass. Like that, because he has such bad brain worms. It's like just they're tunnels all through his brain. It's like Swiss cheese. His brain is like it just doesn't exist. He's very dumb. But we're gonna watch this. It's 13 minutes and 53 seconds. I turned it up to 1.5 speed. Let's watch this fucking idiot.
Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we return to talking about the Batman movie franchise. This time we're not talking about Joker anymore, unfortunately though. Although it is worth noting that that flick is still setting box office records as we speak. It could even be going on to making $1 billion. And also, Joker could become the highest grossing R-rated film of all time. But despite that gritty R-rated anti-PC angle working so well for the Joker film, well, it looks like the next upcoming Batman movie might be going another way. This new movie is set to release in the summer of 2021, and it will simply be called The Batman. And it's going to have the former Twilight star Robert Pattinson playing the Dark Knight. This casting, of course, shook a few fans early on when it was announced. But to be fair, Robert has come a long way since he played a diamond-covered vampire in those teen dramas. These days, Pattinson has certainly stepped up and shown he has more to offer to film than just his good looks and toned physique. But recently, he has been saying some pretty questionable and dumb, head-turning things about how he views the Caped Crusader he's about to play. Before we get to that, though, I would like to tease what else we're going to be talking about today, which includes the seemingly woke, pro-diversity casting of other characters for this movie, including Catwoman and Commissioner Gordon getting race swapped. Yeah, between that and this new take coming from Rob, which he has been
No Bullshit is a white supremacist, by the way. Keep that in mind here.
shopping around in interviews, well, it's hard to not think this new movie could be getting pretty woke. First things first, though, let's check out this article from Games Radar called Robert Pattinson teases the Batman. He's not a hero. His morality is a little bit off. He's not the goal.
True! This is very true. Batman is, some people go as far as to say he's a fascist. I mean, yeah, Batman beats the shit out of criminals, and not all criminals are bad. I hate to say it, guys, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to fucking survive, and sometimes that means crime. So Batman is basically a character that beats the shit out of people who break the law. It's always been true. He's not, even in the story, even the writers acknowledge he's not perfect. So this is not like a controversial statement here. But No Bullshit's about to get really triggered about it, so that's gonna be exciting.
Golden Boy. And well, I have to say, this has me pretty confused already, Robert. Sure, I can see that Batman is a bit of a complicated character at times. He's certainly not as cut and dry as, say, Superman, who's certainly usually a bit of a perfect Golden Boy type character, but complicated and being a bit darker than most crime fighters doesn't mean the Bat is not a hero. Of course he is. And he's always had near perfect morality too. Batman's known to not only be the ultimate detective and crime stopper, but also he never kills. At least he didn't kill anyone until Zack Snyder got his hands on the character and tore him and Superman apart in their now notorious face-off film from 2016. But before that, always and forever, Batman...
By the way, just because you don't kill anybody doesn't make you not a hero. I would say that a lot of what Batman has done is pretty fucked up.
Doesn't kill. That's part of his code. And that's because he has a very strong moral code and even stronger conviction.
He will, however, break your neck and leave you paralyzed for your entire life.
Why else would he let the Joker live over and over again despite him being a mass murderer and always getting away from custody? Taking out Joker would certainly benefit society and protect everyone too, but no. Batman is so principled and convicted and moral, it's almost to a fault. So that's why this whole Batman's not a hero thing is such a head-scratcher coming from Robert Pattinson right now, who's about to play the character. Not sure what comics he's reading or what movies he's seen. I hope he's not basing this all on Batman v Superman. Perhaps this is about the new movie and the new direction the character is taking in that script in the Batman, but I hope not, because then, if that's the case...
I mean, like, okay, so knowing where, like, DC is right now, they're probably gonna go super overly edgy with it, and it's gonna be like ridiculously ridiculously edgy. Like Batman's gonna be like fucking snapping people's necks and kicking them through walls and shit. It's Batman. Batman beats the shit out of people. That's what he does. And DC wants to be even more edgy. So for all we know, Batman's going to be an anti-hero in this new movie.
Not only is Robert Pattinson being wrong about this character, but also the new movie is wrong about him too. And they could be taking him in a wrong direction, much like how Zack Snyder did in Batman v Superman.
Oh, no.
Or, to be fair, this could be part of Batman growing up since...
Fake comic book fans. Okay, I love this. All these people, No Bullshit, The Quartering, One Angry Gamer, Geeks and Gamers, all these fucking white supremacist assholes that pretend like they care about like comics and nerd shit. They make these statements like they're going the wrong direction and whatnot, and they get really mad about retconning. But I really there's a Vadim video or a Creationist Cat video on this where Vadim goes into detail about how wrong all of these reactionaries are about comics. Comic books have been and have always been full of retcons and full of what they would call SJW propaganda. There is a quote from Stan Lee where he said that DC came to him and they were like, hey, if you could rewrite DC, how would you do it? And Stan Lee was just like, yeah, I would make Batman a black woman. And just starts listing like he would race and gender swap them and make certain characters gay. He said he would make the Flash a gay black man. Like, he said he would, that's what Stan Lee said he would do. Stan Lee, the guy who they prop up as the fucking king of nerdism. He said that himself. Yeah, we stand Stan Lee, right? May he rest in peace. Stan Lee, basically all of the classic comic book writers would look down on people like No Bullshit and The Quartering as like scum, just subhuman scum. And they are. They really are. They're exploiting his work to spread a reactionary, anti-progressive agenda, an agenda that those very writers stand against. And not only that, but they pretend like they care about these characters, like they care about this industry, like they care about comic books and whatnot, but they've always been against all of these things. I'm very sure John Galt, like this quote is from like the 80s or 90s. He said that if he had the opportunity, he would race and gender and sexuality swap all the characters in Marvel. Like, you have to understand, most of most comic book writers were a bunch of hippies who were on acid in the 70s. You understand that, right? They weren't reactionaries.
Since Robert Pattinson is set to play a much younger Bruce Wayne. Regardless, let's read on into this article anyway and see where this thing goes. It's an entirely different experience from the movies I've been doing, the actor told the New York Times. Normally I shoot 6 weeks and now it's 6 months. Speaking about being skeptical of actors who play the hero, Pattinson clarified that he believes Batman not a hero. He continued, he's a complicated character. I don't think I could ever play a real hero. There's always got to be something a little bit wrong. I think it's because one of my eyes is smaller than the other one. Asked about why he wants to work with director Matt Reeves, the actor said he loves the filmmaker. Batman's a dope character, he said. His morality is a little bit off. He's not the golden boy, unlike almost every other comic book character. There is a simplicity to his worldview, but where it sits is strange, which allows you to have more scope with the character.
Okay, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna hold on to this thought. I want to see No Bullshit's response to this.
I'm not sure if I agree with that, and there's really not much more elaboration here. I think maybe this was just a hot take from Rob, who seems to think all...
Do you want to know what No Bullshit's getting mad at here? He's getting mad that this male character isn't a Mary Sue. That's actually what's happening here. Robert Pattinson was saying that he's a complicated character. He has flaws. He's not perfect. And No Bullshit's getting mad at that statement when this is the same criticism that he has towards Rey in the new Star Wars franchise. This is literally No Bullshit being pissed off that a male character isn't a Mary Sue. God, you gotta love the double standards. They're just right in your face. And No Bullshit's too stupid to hide it. No Bullshit is too dumb to dog whistle. He can't do it. He just straight up says, "Oh my God, a Jew" in some of his videos. Like he just goes mask off constantly. He's just too dumb to dog whistle. It's actually so refreshing for me.
all heroes are shiny and perfect and bright and pretty, like say Superman, Iron Man, or Captain America, but that's really just a surface level view of these things. Not only is it not true, all of these characters have their own complications and dark sides to them, but also, the whole premise here sounds like it's coming from some outsider who doesn't really understand superheroes, or comic books, or even Batman at all. This, of course, is not the end of the world or anything. If Robert Pattinson has a good script and strong direction, he doesn't technically need to know all the ins and outs of the Dark Knight or his universe, but it is a little off-putting for sure. And this not a hero line certainly deserves the scrutiny it's getting right now in the media. Last thing I have to say about this is more about what we've alluded to before. Heroes don't have to be these bright-colored, perfect, and pretty characters with bright-colored suits. In fact, being the opposite of that is what makes Batman so cool and badass and interesting. He breaks the mold for comic book heroes in a lot of ways, if you think about it. But at the same time, just because he's darker and his suit is black-colored, that doesn't mean he's not a hero, nor does it mean his morality is off in any way whatsoever. Really, Batman just has a darker backstory than most. At least he did at the time of his creation. Nowadays, almost every hero has an origin story where a parent or relative dies to kick things off, but Batman was one of the originals to do that. But that doesn't mean it made him into a questionable character on the verge of turning into—
This is all gish gout. Like, this, none of this is relevant, by the way. He's doing this to pad for time because he has to get over 10 minutes for that extra ad revenue. Yeah, no, this is literally him arguing that Batman should be a Mary Sue.
To a villain, like what's implied. And if you think about it, the same kind of thing happened to Spider-Man, who had a similar family death in his backstory, but he didn't become a villain either.
Isn't this from that show, The Boys? This isn't fucking DC, what the fuck?
In fact, Spider-Man's rather funny and sarcastic in his character portrayals. In addition, the real thing worth pointing out here is another reason why Batman's suit and look is so dark and scary looking in the first place. And it's not because he's a borderline anti—
Why did he bring up a picture from the Hulu show The Boys? It literally had no relevance to what we were seeing on screen. What the fuck? No bullshit. Who's your editor? Is it you?
Type maybe going to become a villain. No, Batman looks scary not to try and scare normal people who he's sworn to protect. Really, the Bat is made to look intimidating because he's trying to scare criminals and strike fear into the hearts of his villains, which helps him when he's trying to take them down. Next, let's talk about the next major casting announcements for this new movie, which involves a sort of—
He uses fear and violence to get his way. He's a fascist, I understand. Yep.
Spending of the famous Catwoman character. Here's an article from One Angry Gamer talking about how the Batman is race—
Okay, comment, or down below, comment if you saw this coming. Holy shit. One Angry Gamer is a Nazi. He just is a Nazi. I read this article on stream. There is a video of it on my channel. He calls Zoe Kravitz like a half-breed and shit like that. Like, unbelievable. Yeah, no bullshit's a Nazi. Calling it right now. Like, he literally calls Zoe Kravitz like half-breed, and just like the kind of shit that like the Death Eaters in Harry Potter would call Muggles, like really fucking weird shit, like white supremacist shit. He's a Nazi. Cool. All right. Yep. Citing a Nazi. He is a Nazi. Awesome. Love
swapping the character Catwoman by casting Zoe Kravitz. And I have to say, this is a little upsetting, but on its own, it's not especially
Turvy Top Hat. Thank you for the Prime sub. I appreciate it, buddy.
Me off either. Not to mention, this has happened before in the original Batman TV series where they had a full black woman playing Catwoman back then. In addition, Zoe Kravitz isn't a bad choice here in the present. She's a seasoned actress by now who also brings some name recognition to this picture. In addition, she's also pretty damn hot too, and that always helps in these roles, especially when you're casting Catwoman, who does tend to become Batman's love interest. But that's where things do get more shady, since they're apparently trying to make Batman go for a black chick in this new movie. But also, to be fair, Zoe Kravitz is barely even black if you think about it. She's definitely light-skinned, and she's really only like a quarter black in her lineage, and she's also half Jewish. So I think you get the point. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman isn't necessarily the end of the world, and even it could be interesting on its own, since she's decent enough at acting and pretty damn good looking as well. And also, like I said before, this has been done before. But alas, regardless,
she's not full black. He said it would be a little yikes if he went after a black woman, but she's not full black, so he's okay with it. Okay, I amend my previous statement. No Bullshit is less Nazi than One Angry Gamer.
Regardless of all that nuance, this is the first major sign this movie might be getting woke. And if you keep in mind how shitty that's turned out in recent history for other movies and other projects who have tried to race bend every white character into a minority as a way to pander to social justice warriors, well, this is all certainly worrisome. But at the same time, it is kind of funny if they go that far, since if people want to say they made Catwoman black here, that's a bit of a stretch too. But combine this with the questionable Robert Pattinson line we just went over saying Batman's not a hero, and we've definitely got some issues popping up here. And this happening so early on, before they even started filming, isn't a good look either, especially considering the next major casting choice we're about to go over, which also includes another race swap. Before we get to that though, let's talk talk about the Riddler character, because that villain's casting stuck with a white guy who's being played by Paul Dano. But for another character, the actor set to possibly play Commissioner Gordon will in fact be a fully black man named Jeffrey Wright, famous for the Westworld series. And I find all this casting and race bending in certain situations pretty interesting too, and I'm going to tell you why. It really seems like they're trying to only race bend the cool hero type characters, and also the ones that are more beloved by the audience and fans. That's why Riddler, for example, stayed as a white guy like he always is, because while he is a fan favorite Batman villain somewhat, he's also a crazy mad scientist type character who's always a bad guy. And in this day and age, Hollywood will go out of its way to make all the bad and crazy characters white every chance they can get. And then
There it is, boys. There it is. Hollywood hates white people. You heard it here first. Hollywood hates white people. It's undeniable. Right there. Fucking left wing destroyed.
at the same time, they will also make all the cool hero characters that are well-liked, they'll try and turn them into other races to try and take that role away from white people. Because screw Americans, am I right? Catwoman was the first big example.
Wait, what? Wait. Oh no. Was that a dog whistle or was that... Wait. Screw Americans. They... wait. Let's replay that really quick.
Batman villain somewhat, he's also a crazy mad scientist type character who's always a bad guy. And in this day and age, Hollywood will go out of its way to make all the bad and crazy characters white every chance they can get. And then at the same time, they will also make all the cool hero characters that are well liked, they'll try and turn them into other races to try and take that role away from white people. Because screw Americans, am I right? Catwoman.
Did he just say that Americans can only be white? I mean, he is a white supremacist. I mean, I said at the beginning of the video he was. I mean, okay.
Was the first big example of this we already went over, and although she starts off as a thief and is somewhat of a villain sometimes, she's also often Batman's love interest, and she will eventually become a hero herself and fight crime alongside the Bat often as well. In addition, Catwoman is also one of the coolest, sexiest, and most beloved Batman side characters. So of course she's going to be made into a half-black minority now for woke SJW reasons. And back to Commissioner Gordon, he's also in a similar boat here. He's been around in the Batman universe forever, and he's almost always been a good actor.
That is some good fucking casting, though. I'm not gonna lie. Also, wasn't he black in Batman Arkham Asylum? Wait. I could have sworn he was black in Batman Arkham Asylum. Oh, no, he wasn't. Okay, never mind. Why do I remember him being black? I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's such a dark game.
Ally and a friend to the Dark Knight. Just look at this glowing introduction and review of the character from this article announcing Jeffrey Wright might